All right, let's talk about the one thing that all successful e-commerce quizzes have in common. Normally, I'm not one to buy into this do this one thing idea, but in this case, this one thing is not really a particular tactic, it's more of a mindset when you're going into building your e-commerce quiz, which obviously is meant to recommend products, increase sales, and also generate leads, so people that join your email list. Now, to illustrate this point of this one thing that is really important, I want to tell a quick story, and it's about how we have pitched Interact, which is the quiz builder that I co-founded back in 2013. For a long time, we pitched it as this idea that a quiz is not some buzzy thing, it's not some trendy whatever internet thing. First of all, quizzes have been around for hundreds of years, thousands of years, like in the 1700s. I guess that's hundreds of years. There was pub quizzes, and before that, people were quizzing each other. Basically, these things have been around forever. But the most recent iteration of them that we really meant to make accessible to the average business is this idea that a quiz can emulate the experience that you would have walking into a coffee shop. And I am going to segment out coffee drinkers here. I apologize if you're not a coffee drinker. But you can kind of put this on whatever products you really enjoy. You walk into a coffee shop, someone behind the counter actually takes the time to talk to you and ask you about your coffee preferences, see what you like and you don't like. Do you like a darker roast or a lighter? What kind of flavor notes do you like? How frequently do you drink? How much do you drink? All this kind of stuff that really informs the best type of coffee for you. And then they either pour you a cup or grab you a bag of beans, one or maybe both, and they say, based on what we talked about, I think this is the right fit for you. Now that experience for the customer, what's happening there? That customer is feeling very seen and heard. They're feeling like this person spent special attention to make sure that they got a bag of beans or a cup of coffee that would actually be good for them, rather than just trying to make a sale or saying, you know, so many e-commerce sites have the discount, right? Can you imagine if you walk in to that same shop and the person behind the counter doesn't say anything, they just say, here's 10% off our whole store, and you're like, okay, I mean, I guess it's kind of nice. If I knew I already wanted to buy something, then maybe that would be helpful. But if I didn't, and I was actually just browsing around, which most people are when they're, on social media or they're on your website, they would want to know more about what the products are and what you have to offer before you're just like, here's 10% off. So again, translating that back online, the quiz is meant to be like that person behind the counter. Now, a few years ago, we had the distinct privilege of this actually happening at Interact. A coffee shop just down the street from me here in San Francisco reached out, said they'd been using a quiz for a while. I'll put what they said up here on the screen so you can take a look at it and see their conversion rate. But basically, Hrog, who works over there, I got the chance to interview him after the fact, and he said that the way that he built the quiz was exactly how we had been talking about Interact for all those years, where he actually interviewed his father, who is an expert in coffee roasting and all things coffee, and figured out what questions his father would ask in order to figure out the right, blend or single origin roast for their customers, and then they turn that into a coffee matchmaker quiz, and I'll run through that on the screen here as well so you can just see how that functions and take a look at how that works. But the one thing, getting back to this one thing, is that they infused what they knew, they infused their story, they infused personality into the quiz, and it's literally just the same thing that you would do if you were talking to somebody about their lifestyle, their preferences, their needs, what they're looking for, and then you were to recommend a product, or in this case of the Henry's House of Coffee quiz, they recommend 3 or 4 products in the results, rather than just here's our products and a discount if you want that. And they even said that Rug said that the quiz was converting at 23%, their pop-up was converting at 5%. So huge difference there. It just works really well. And that one thing that they did was they just treated the quiz like it was you speaking to a customer who walks in for the first time and is curious, they're interested in the products, offerings that you have, and you are just taking the time to understand them and then offer up products as a result. And I think if you think about that and you have that mindset, when you're building your e-commerce quiz, it's going to come across so different than if you have the mindset of, I'm just trying to increase sales, or I want to optimize on this quiz thing because it's hot and people are talking about it and people say these go viral. Really, what you want to do is just get in the mindset of, someone walks into my store for the very first time, on the internet store, walking in, and they are curious. I need to ask them questions and actually listen to what they're saying and then offer up my recommendations at the end. And I can guarantee you that's going to work way better than if you just try to go off of marketing principles or strategies or whatever it is. Just really have that mindset. And that's the one thing that really stands out. When I see an e-commerce quiz that does that, I can immediately tell it's going to perform better, and it almost always checks out in the analytics that the conversion rate's better. And when I talk to people, the sales after the fact are better, because all you're doing is just infusing what you already do and the way that you already connect with people into your e-commerce quiz. So definitely highly recommend that. If you want some help thinking about how that works and some prompts, we have more videos, as well as you can go to our website at tryinteract.com and schedule a consultation and talk to one of our experts. They can definitely help unlock some of that stuff for you. But basically, you just want to think about it with that mindset, and that is the one thing that sets e-commerce quizzes apart that I see are performing really well.